The summer of 2020, I was really trying to get Nate to come to Maryville because I was like, you know, he was playing on some teams, and I was like, bro, you'd love it at Maryville. Like,
yeah,
it's just what you're looking for. And then eventually he was like, yeah, I'd love to come. And then that was immediately when I got my professional offer. So he came in, and I said, see ya, bro.
Yeah. Me and Niles were like best online friends, duo partners, and then he goes straight to the LCS. And like, but here I am, I'm on Maryville. But I realized how much I've grown as a person by stepping out of my comfort zone and going into a college program and just growing a lot individually. And I decided I liked that a lot more than trying to pursue being a pro gamer.
I got my opportunity and I really loved every second of it. But then after a year, I sort of stepped back and I was like, where are my passions at? University, this is a great opportunity for me to just still work on my game while having a stable place in life for me to be. So that's why, you know, I had a bunch of options, but Maryville was really the best choice because of that.
The whole community knows about the two of us. Anyone who's played any sort of competitive league or high-level league knows about the two of us. So even when I was playing professionally, whenever we get each other in solo queue or play together,
so run kids, yeah.
we'd run kids.
Back is here. If you lock down Frost Force, flash in, Glacial Prison, lockdown, Getback's here. Niles with the kill credit.
Playing with Nate, it's like, he's always someone I can bounce ideas off in the game. So like, if I think something is good and he thinks something is good, I feel really confident. Being the main voice of the team, I think that makes my job really easy. Like, someone's always giving me feedback on what I think is good, and if he thinks it's good too, then we're gonna execute.
There's a gank. They don't have the Wukong ult. Actually, they do. Cyclone's back up. They don't even need it. They just pick up the kill easily.
We definitely like argue a lot about strategy or just gameplay, but I mean, that's what makes us so much better. I swear it's made us so much better this year.
Yeah.
But man, there were some weeks, some months where I was like, this guy, like, get him out of my freaking sight. Like, and you, for me, surely. Yeah. And it's so stressful, but like, we grew so much this year as a team. It's kind of like a dream come true. Like, you know, we usually win every single LAN we go to. We qualified for NACL. We've been doing very well together. Winning a championship for Maryville, this is like the final boss. Like the final thing we need to accomplish in order to know that me and him are like, we're a great duo together, like an unstoppable duo.
And welcome back as we get ready for pick and ban of game number 2. UST up 1-0, and apparently I'm a frat house president. Was that it? Something like that?
You were homeschooled, man.
Well, you don't have to say that in front of everybody.
I mean, only thing I'll say is bring back duo queue. That's great evidence.
That's the perfect advertisement for duo queue.
Bring back duo queue.
Yeah, let's just show that to the Riot Balance team. Or
please.
Whoever's responsible for that.
It's so fun for everyone, please. Especially when you face their Elise Pantheon.
I was going to say, maybe not the people against...
yeah, Elise Pantheon, that terrorized solo queue quite a bit.
Back in the OG days. I just love how offended OddOrange was. He's like, he just left me. He just went right to LCS. I was still on Maryville. But now they're back together. The dream team behind in the series. They're going to have to find some way to claw back in, and the side selection is the same for game 2.
I will say, a little small adaptation being made by UST. They banned Xayah first last time. It's going to be the same bans from MU. But I'm curious if Xayah is taken away here or not, now that we have seen the Vi first pick. For me, personally, if I'm Maryville, I think the biggest adaptation that I would make, get rid of the Wukong. Do not let Dardoch have Wukong again. Just take it for themselves. If so, I do like the Vi matchup in the Wukong, though, which is kind of iffy. It's just that the way that Dardoch played that out with red side taking the red buff, invading, it was so crippling for OddOrange in that early game. And Maryville, they stabilized well, but it was not close being enough.
It's not a ban, which means it would have to be a pick, but instead,
same
run right back to the Vi. So a run back of the first 3 champs.
Now, other option, deny the Yasuo. I think that Yasuo really did bring that comp together in a way. So that is something that could take away in the second round of pick ban. I think they're comfortable attacking the Draven. Like, if they go Lucian, Nami, and then Draven, I do think that's okay so far for the side of Maryville. But no, they're going to switch up the bot lane. Going to be the Varus, which you have a lot of supports you can pair up with Varus, and then the Annie as well.
This gives them way more tools to start fights. They have more agency with more CC options.
I'd also be curious if RobbyBob takes his counter now. He loves Victor. Also, Syndra is going to be an option. Couple champs that he could have available to himself at the moment. You can see him kind of hovering through all the above.
Yeah.
And yeah, will be a RobbyBob Victor.
He was honing in on all the things you were saying. He's like, what was that, Cubby? Lissandra? Nah, Victor. All right, fine. I'll lock in the Victor. RobbyBob's special, baby. He loves this champion. He's known for this champion, even though he has been playing a lot of those AD mid laners. We talked about the Zed, the Pantheon, last game, the Yasuo. This is where RobbyBob kind of made a name for himself, was more this play style.
And I think the Victor, it does really limit what you can do from now, because with Victor in the mid lane, you are forced to drop some of the early objectives to the Annie plus Vi.
Sure.
I fully expect UST now to kind of play more of that scaling style, which I know from talking with Maryville beforehand, they did expect, but also Maryville, they're the most aggressive early game team that we had in top 4. It's how they got back, or I should say, earned their spot into the Challengers League as well.
Yeah.
So Maryville, we'll see if they can fully commit to this early game play style as we look through the rest of pick ban. A couple marksmen being taken away that could be bad against Varus. And also, I do like the Olaf ban, given that you have Victor now. You don't want to let Olaf get rolling.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go so far as to say that that last game was the first time in months that I've seen Maryville lose an early game. They were behind in gold for pretty much the entire game. So rarely does that ever happen. UST showing that they can meet MU where they are the most powerful. They do not lock into Draven early this time around. They saw the option for it, but I think a big part of that was that they wanted to play through the Draven. We might not see that same style here depending on what UST lock in. It's not going to be the Phalios, not going to be the Lucian, as those are taken off the table.
I mean, Jinx is an option here, but not a fun one. You could, okay, it's just going to be the Rakan for Daption. So I do like this combo, given that you do have Wukong plus Gragas to kind of piggyback off of. But I think this says a lot about University of St. Thomas. Shogo has been very public about wanting everything for himself.
Yeah.
Marksman was showing. They're instead going to blind support, and Shogo's like, I want pick 5, right?
Exactly.
I want to do this.
And we saw on the camera there, ScaryJerry's reaction. He wasn't laughing. He wasn't chuckling. Usually ScaryJerry's having a good time up there. I think he's taking it seriously again, realizing what type of situation he's walking into right now. It will be the Varus and the Leona, and then Gnar as the pick for Niles.
All right, one item going to be really big for Maryville's top side, and cleanse value also going to be really big for the side of Shogo. As you can see, he's already opted for cleanse. Seeing the Vi, or I should say the Annie plus the Leona, Vi going to be the only thing that can get through that, as Daption going to hover a few things. I'm surprised that we get a Kai'Sa here.
Wow.
This is a matchup where against Varus, you should lose lane if you are Kai'Sa into Varus. And also Leona is an older counter into Rakan. I know that given some of the Rakan changes, I mean, 1 point in Q, you can get like 80 plus health back. I don't think that's very balanced. So a lot of this will rely on Daption, making sure the health bars are higher, because Kai'Sa should get poked out by Varus, and Maryville, they're going to have a lot of priority in these lanes.
And in general, there's a lot of things that a Kai'Sa needs to be worried about too. I mean, you do have the cleanse, but still, going into an Annie range, you're a relatively short range AD carry. You can follow up on things like the Wukong, the Rakan, the Gragas engage if you're able to start the fights first. Which, you know, to their credit, UST were willing to do often in the last game, but there were those few times as well where Maryville, they committed to the fight first. They engaged onto UST while UST was still prepping, and it worked out for MU in those specific fights. So a bold move from Shogo. We got the drafts, though, as the teams are getting ready to head into game number 2. Are we feeling any better about either one of these, Cubby, as the coaches shake hands?
I think this plays more into the style that Maryville wants to have against St. Thomas. And I mean, St. Thomas, taking something like Kai'Sa Navarus, that is a disrespectful pick for me, which really does sum up Shogo. As it didn't sound like he had the most respect for ScaryJerry, but hey, this is a lane where ScaryJerry and Zyko, they can prove themselves. I think they have counters in both roles down there, and I really want to see if they can cash in with OddOrange, because bot prio, setting Kai'Sa behind, she packs a lot of damage later in the game, but if she does get behind, Varus can really punish her.
Do Maryville choose to play through their bot lane this time around, get ScaryJerry ahead in this matchup that Shogo has been so confident in? Or do they look to play elsewhere on the map? They're behind in the series. UST feeling great at 1-0, and we are in to game number 2. And in that last game, Dardoch came up big, so let's hear from Shogo about UST's belief in their team captain.
So I think a lot of players in this competition think that they might like go, you know, even with me, but I don't think anyone has the ego to, you know, think that they're going to outperform Dardoch. Like, they might say they do, but they know his history, they know how he plays, and they don't believe themselves when they say they're going to out-jungle him.
I gotta say, you know, sitting in the scrim room, Dardoch was very, very vocal for the University of St. Thomas team.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun hearing him too, because, you know, like when they lose fights, he's immediately like downloading what went wrong. It's like, oh, okay, like we gotta wait for XYZ. And his ability to continually think about the game, not only what he wants to do, but what the team needs to do to win, I think has been a big part of the St. Thomas run. And as Shogo said, like, hey, we have less practice against better opponents compared to Maryville, but we do have Dardoch, and we feel like that's a cheat code for Collegiate.
The shot calling experience that this player has, just the experience on the Rift.
Oh my God,
that this player
hold on.
has.
Shogo went Kaisa into Varus and then took Cole. This is utterly disrespectful.
They just, I guess, expecting no aggression from ScaryJerry Zyko. They said, nope, this Leona's never going to touch Shogo. We're going to be fine.
It is the on-hit Varus, which I must say, I would almost prefer the poke Varus this game, given that it's going to be really hard to step up into Wukong plus Gragas, but if you are able to get that lethal tempo going, you have the range advantage as Varus, given the auto attack range and the E. And we'll see if ScaryJerry can use that well, as so far Daption doing a decent job of landing a couple of these Qs to keep Shogo's health bar a little bit high.
Yeah, Zyko got chunked out from the first level 1 walk-up. Let's see if that affects much more. They self-control over the wave. Shogo and Daption are seeding that, so it'll be level 2 for the bot lane of MU.
Now, I was kind of advocating to change up the jungle matchup this game for OddOrange versus Dardoch. Big problem with that jungle matchup in the last game was that Dardoch was able to take that red buff and then invade immediately. Oh, we got a couple LCS casters in the crowd. Good to see them enjoying some of the action.
Checking out some of the collegiate stuff. Oh, we got another one?
Yeah, Emily Rand as well. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Yeah, all right. Yeah, there we go.
How you liking the show so far? We don't get to see now.
All right. Well, hopefully so far so good.
I get some thumbs up. I'm getting some thumbs up.
Pressure's on for all of us. And hey, the pressure is about to be on for the bot side as Dardoch did spot that ward. OddOrange does have the red buff and level 3 this time. A lot more ability to fight Wukong. Once you get level 3 on the Vi, you're actually very strong. And you can see with the bot lane priority, Dardoch's going to have to see that blue buff. So much better game plan here for Maryville.
Yeah, I remember last time around we were talking at this point of the game, the story of Dardoch saying, yeah, no, I'm better than OddOrange. He knows it. I know it. Everyone knows it. Well, hey, this time around, OddOrange actually getting the better of Dardoch, learning from game 1's mistakes.
Much better early game setup from Maryville. Love to see that preparation, whether it's a different draft, but even better for me, a different game plan, setting yourself up for a lot more success here. And if OddOrange shows, he can even maybe force Dardoch to... so he's sticking around to force Dardoch to burn Smite, so then he gets the crab for free. So that way, you know, he has bot lane pressure. Dardoch doesn't feel like he can check in here. There is no Smite available for him to steal that away, so OddOrange gets it as nice trade here from Daption.
Yeah. They also did see Dardoch complete the recall, so they know that Wukong has reset to the top of the map. OddOrange can run right up to mid lane. That's a stun onto RobbyBob. Flash is available. Throwing down the gravity well. OddOrange walks right into it. They want to get that summoner out of RobbyBob. He's holding it to the last, and that is going to punish him. First blood to Getback.
Well done. That's going to enable the double crabs here for OddOrange, and that's Dardoch wants to get very funky. But, yeah, that being blown, Getback doesn't have any more mana. It will be a Smite fight potentially for this crab.
OddOrange has it. Dardoch does not take it, so OddOrange. It was not the conventional way, but he does get the double scuttle.
And I don't even know if he can continue this invade as Gnar has pressure.
This is rough.
We talked about the lanes here for St. Thomas. They did not draft winning lanes, and OddOrange is making really good use of that.
Bot lane. Looks like they're fighting down here as well. It's exhausting to ScaryJerry. Flashes away. Flash from Daption. Zyko falls up for the kill. What's happening top lane? It looks like they're out of there. Shogo has to flash too. Maryville winning the bot lane matchup, pushing Dardoch out of the jungle as well. Getting the better of UST in this early game.
Well done. Maryville, they took winning lanes, said this is how they like to play through the early game. Every lane here is winning for Maryville, and OddOrange, the way he's playing around it, he's cashed in across the map already. We're only 5 minutes in the game. He's gotten advantages for his team everywhere.
A jungle clinic right now from OddOrange. That's even flashed out of Dardoch while he was escaping, so he will not have that summoner spell as he's back to his own jungle to clear up. Shogo will try and shove this wave in, still stacking up that coal. Let's get another look at the replay here. It's getting a little chaotic in the jungle, but it was bot lane where the action broke out.
Yeah, ScaryJerry telling Shogo, you gotta maybe put a little bit more respect on me than that. It's a really nice reaction flash, and love to see Zyko following in. Again, the base stats of Leona so strong, able to melt Rakan, as now Zyko. He might go down.
Has ScaryJerry in his back pocket. And again, that W keeping him alive for so long. They're back at the Shogo. He doesn't even go down yet. That's another kill to ScaryJerry, and Daption gets the kill credit. ScaryJerry can get one more auto. That's a double kill.
Disrespectful bot lane pick from Shogo, and UST being punished by ScaryJerry as MU. Everything is going their way in this early game. That's going to be the first dragon in their favor. And when you get this far behind against an Annie comp, it's so difficult to play because Annie can always just drop Tivers, take away half your health, and you get full objective control. So MU, they're going to have advantage for so long here.
Oh, the confidence of Zyko to walk up like this. Shield of Ages, that W on Leona makes you so tanky early.
Hey, that's a bloodthirsty support right there. He understands 1 for 1. You know, take the marksman down. My life's always worth that. ScaryJerry says, you know what? We're going to make that a 2 for 1. Just
we're back to live, though. Okay, OddOrange gets the dragon. And Dardoch went for the steal. Punished for it. It looks like, I believe OddOrange was on that first.
Well, that's a reach. Okay. That's a bit of a reach.
Remember game 1, Cubby, when UST were all ahead and we were doing that whole thing of like, yeah, remember Maryville, they usually win the early game? Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of what usually happens with Maryville.
Well, it's also what happens when, you know, you draft a few self-counter picks. You know, Maryville, these players could not cash it in. There's a reason that this team is not only at the top of Collegiate, but also going to be competing in the upcoming split of Challengers League, as they did qualify from the last promotion relegation tournament. Again, the first college to ever break that barrier into Tier 2 permanently, or I guess a regular season slot, you know, not counting Proving Grounds. That is a big deal, as Maryville, I mean, really does cement them again. There's a reason why we keep on talking about them being the kings of Collegiate, the way they've modeled this program, not just in League of Legends, but other games as well. They've promoted 13 players to pro across all titles. That is really a number that no other college has come close to. But I know for them, all that matters is putting trophies in the trophy case. They really want to have that record-setting 3rd today.
And UST coming in as the defending champions, they blitzed onto the scene. They came in kind of out of nowhere with a very stellar roster last year, took the whole thing, but they weren't necessarily, we didn't have a lot of tape on them. The program is still building up a history. And we're already starting to see a rivalry build between these two programs. We called it the true finals in semis when these teams matched up last year. But now in the finals, it's looking like Maryville have the lead in game number 1. Could be closing up the series, or at least tightening up the series, depending on how UST play the rest of this one out. What do we feel about UST's chances, though? Are they out of this one based on the draft itself?
No, they aren't. I mean, you have Victor, right? Victor can become a menace, especially into the comp that they're facing this game. Everyone has to dive into Victor. So I think a lot of eyes have to go on to RobbyBob. He is about to hit that first E-Evolve. That's when you start to get at least the ability to match some of their priority against Annie. So mid will not be as doomed, and Dardoch can make more plays. And I must say, taking the Rift Herald there for MU, I actually don't really like that. I would have rather had them try to continue to set Kai'Sa behind. It would have been okay to, take the Rift, or I should say, you can get that later. I think that going for the bot lane priority a little bit more important, because that actually gave a window for Shogo to get back in this game, and Dardoch too, as he was able to get a couple camps away from OddOrange.
They do have the wave. Slow pushing back as OddOrange hovers around the bottom side. Maybe the play's a dive?
I mean, that would make the Rift Herald worth it, right? If you're able to cash in. And right now, Zyko does have level 6 advantage. Daption starting to fish for that ward. Oh.
That looked like it went right over that Rakan.
I won't get into the elevation change mechanics here. I think that's a rabbit hole we don't need to go down.
Freak. Let's get a quick review of that one.
That's part of the game. But, it does at least save the dive at the moment. For the side of UST, as it's still a nice 2K gold lead and a dragon in favor of Maryville, and they're nursing that Rift Herald too, which will lead to more plates and more goals. So Maryville still in very good shape. For me, it's just really how much can RobbyBob slow down this game on the Victor.
Goes for the reset, teleports back into lane. Lost Chapter, Fiendish Codex, and Null Magic Mantle. So has not completed an item yet. Nobody across the board has. As the early objective's taken. We got a minute and a half until Dragon. I'm not seeing anyone really hitting a big breakpoint on UST's side, so probably just seeding that next objective as well.
Oh no, like UST, they're already looking to fight 3rd, 4th Dragon. That's really, when you're up against an Annie that's a little bit ahead, I know it's not ahead individually, but just Annie team that's ahead, you have to sack. You really don't get any other options. And Niles, having that Olaf denied, has still been able to find priority in this top side as he's gotten 2 points on his own sum.
Yeah.
And we'll see if his duo buddy comes up top to drop that Rift Herald and maybe knock down that first brick.
A reminder that last year, when they matched up, we were a little bit surprised to see Porsche get the better of Niles more often than not in that series. So far, the team's not playing through Porsche. He's just doing his job of trying to hold these waves. But this game, he doesn't have the luxury of a fed Draven and a fed Yasuo who are popping off. So UST, I don't really have any firepower anywhere on the map.
Still going to be time. Again, RobbyBob, he's able to clear out those waves a lot quicker now, so Annie forced to respond and show. But RobbyBob, it's not like he can do anything with it. He's still a victor. And if he walks out of mid lane, you're still at threat of getting, you know, Flash Tibbers, Vi ulted if OddOrange is there. So it's still going to be the map until I really think 2 items when UST can really start to look.
Niles is going for another plate right now. Minions, aggro goes to Porsche, so he does not get it. Dardoch was around. If Niles had stuck around for just one more auto, I assume Dardoch would have gone for that, even with Porsche low on mana, but backs away, so Niles will just catch the next wave, go for the next plate here, as Dragon is now spawning on the map. Maryville have given up no control of the Rift to UST right now, and now they're looking at Shogo. Doesn't have the support nearby him.
He's sniffing it out, though. I mean, I think they're really just trying to fish for a kill, but there is 0 chance that UST even takes this fight. They're going to sack this Dragon and see if they can get anything else, but with Dardoch still, he's going to wrap up this Wolves camp. Maybe he goes towards the top side, but this really should be all Maryville. Like, there's no chance you want to fight Annie and Vi at this objective. It'll be a trade mid. You can see how RobbyBob can answer back a little bit better now that he has the E-Evolve, not just in the trades, but most importantly, the wave.
Dragon started out by Maryville. The ults traded in mid lane don't amount for much. I don't think it changes the outcome of this Dragon take. Dardoch just full clearing on the Gromp. Daption is linking up with him now. They don't have teleport on Porsche. There's just no shot that they go for this.
No way.
Okay.
Yeah,
resets come through. Wait.
Nope.
Okay. Oh.
Dardoch,
I mean, you never know with Dardoch. Sometimes he will go for those.
He did try to fish the first one away. But, you know, that's a Mountain Dragon versus a Cloud Dragon. Unfortunately for Maryville, they rolled a Hextech Soul. Very powerful for them in this game. They're going to feel really good about that, as given the timer when that Dragon's taken as well, most likely MU going to play for that upcoming Rift Herald, as everything's been textbook for them so far, really making good use of their winning lanes.
I keep going back to the smack talk said earlier in the day. Shogo saying, even he showed it before going into this game. Yeah, you might think that you're better than me, but you're not going to be better than Dardoch. Well, so far, ScaryJerry, OddOrange, both getting the better of their opponents right now. Very different. OddOrange going for a gank top lane. Porsche locked down. And one more auto should be enough. Flash with the boomerang from Niles gets a kill.
OddOrange gives it over to the duo bro, and hey, that flash from OddOrange is really nice. Porsche couldn't pop the cast, so Niles was able to continue to chase, and I expect I mean, that's just going to be first brick over there in favor of MU. Did Rift Herald ever go down?
He had dropped it bot lane for the Dragon.
Hold on, I was like, I think there for a second. Like, oh, God. Why is this first break?
It will be 4 plates, though, for Niles. And now trading a little bit. Shogo going for some. Zyko jumps in onto Daption and Dardoch. Just pushing them off of the wave. And, okay, it is still the turret. Niles gets it regardless, all on his lonesome. OddOrange goes for the kill, backs away. The Gnar with Trinity Force is enough.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a pass in the side lane. Expect to see potentially Niles shifting towards the bot side now.
That's a pretty big gold lead.
Yeah, that's
what we call an aggressive gold lead.
That's nice. The Gragas not quite able to neutralize that Gnar as well as it was able to do with the Olaf. And I want to see how Niles is able to push this again. Oh, Maryville, they've done a fantastic job in this early game of pushing things in their favor. That's a 3.5K gold lead at the 14-minute mark. You're always going to be happy with that, but this is a comp that needs to keep up the pace. So, well, let's see if Maryville can do what they have done so well in CLOL and also Challengers in the OQs, which is turn these leads in the early game into wins.
Turn them into back-breaking leads. Make sure that you don't let off the gas. Herald just spawned, and we do see them pinging it already. Looks like they're going for it. ScaryJerry and Zyko are not rotating, though. They've actually been stuck in lane. They were starting their resets. Shogo stopped it, and now they realize they're spotted.
They get the bad news.
No Death Brush setup. So this means that UST actually do have, for a short window, a champion advantage around here. Getback's catching the mid-wave. You see in the picture-in-picture that the Herald has been started now by Maryville. Niles with the Mega Gnar can just zone everyone from UST off, and MU should just get this Herald.
I mean, I really think they're going to wait for Banshees on Victor, Seraphs on Porsche, second item on Kaisa, whatever that is going to end up being for Shogo. There's just no chance that UST, I think, takes a fight before that as Getback.
They just jump out of Getback, though. They can blow up the Annie.
Yeah.
If you're all lonesome, you are very squishy.
A little bit of an oops there from Getback, a rare mistake from him, who's really been having such a great tournament. Stepping up there, just not necessary. Just catch the wave.
Yeah.
You know your team was just on Rift Herald and they're going to retreat. You saw everyone just show there for University of St. Thomas. A little aggressive, and now
Dardoch doesn't have any backup here. It's a 1v1 versus OddOrange.
Sunder is done.
Has a little bit of an item advantage right now and is winning out on that 1v1.
Actually curious to see OddOrange go for that Conqueror and Sunder rush. That means no Cleaver. I do expect OddOrange to get that Cleaver second, but usually we see Cleaver rush actually on most Vi's is what we saw last game. So OddOrange switching things up, maybe a little bit more emphasis on that one-item spike, as I still think MU really understanding that they have to hit this part of the game hard if they want to win.
Where do they drop the Herald is my next question, because when we talk about accelerating the game state, we have a minute until Dragon. You have time to set up the play right now. This is often where we see teams go for the resets, start dropping the vision down and getting that control so that they can get the objective after.
Throw it mid, attack the Victor. If you don't attack the Victor's turret, he can always keep that turret up. So I think OddOrange should throw this down around the timer of the Dragon, as we do have 45 seconds away. Again, Niles, I was talking to him before, he said the big difference for this game for them, how well they can set up objectives and objective controls. Given the lead that MU has, I want to see if they can make sure this third Dragon goes their way cleanly, and I'm honestly curious if UST even decides to fight or not.
Important to note, Niles doesn't have teleport, Porsche does. So Niles is resetting now 20 seconds before Dragon. Should be able to make it there with the Hex Gate.
Yeah, that wave was in really deep though.
Yeah.
So Porsche still gonna have to respond and will not have the ability to base. As you can see, Niles actually able to get that Force of Nature already. That's massive against the Gragas plus the Victor. Yeah. I'd be really surprised if UST takes this fight. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they're equipped to do so yet.
And they had the inside track for the river, but I mean, you go for the wave. They had the Herald, like you had mentioned. They're dropping it mid, and now they can walk in afterwards. UST have ceded control of the entrance to river because they got to catch this mid wave.
I will say Niles did pop Mega. I would say a tad early, but I do think that's enough to just make sure that St. Thomas can't get in. So yeah, third Dragon drop. This is the right call. They need 2 items to fight when you have Victor, Gragas, Kaisa. MU is so strong at this point in the game, and St. Thomas showing some of that respect that we did see from Maryville in the last game as well. I think Maryville did a nice job of playing their way back. Yeah. And St. Thomas trading Dragon for mid-outer, that's really not bad. You were never going to take a fight in that situation, so at least St. Thomas were able to get something in return.
You're giving more gold to the carries, getting them closer to those item spikes, where then they can start to contest.
4-man portal.
Yeah!
Teamwork, baby.
That's fun. The celebration portal right there. So yeah, we lost the Dragon and our bot turned to a wave. But we took the 4 champs.
Hey, you know what? No local gold. Calculated, you know?
You know what? Fair.
Yeah, it's all calculated.
There's nothing that's going to be on the Rift right now. So I'm wondering how much slower this game gets. Do MU go for some kind of Hail Mary play and just try and make a play for a tier 2 turret? Because all the outer turrets are gone. You got the 3 Dragons and the 2 Heralds. Baron's coming up in a minute, but it's a little early to look at that. Like, is this the point where UST have reached, okay, the game is slowed down, we can start to scale?
Ooh, I mean, the game's slow, but they still have time. It's not going to be a Banshees from RobbyBob. I thought he'd go that with an old magic panel showing. Instead, it will be the Void Rush.
I think it's yet again. Look at the Annie in the side lane. That Stibbers down, has the stopwatch, and now Niles teleported in with the help of OddOrange. A late teleport from RobbyBob. He's going to put him right into danger. Actually, it was Porsche coming in. RobbyBob already there. Shogo in doing the damage on the Niles. Nobody's fallen from either side yet. Finally, ScaryJerry on the killing spree takes down Porsche. Looking for more. Zyko's walking up. They won't have a front line. It's just Zyko half health on the Leona. Now stunned up. Has to flash, and RobbyBob with a flash follow for the kill. Slows down ScaryJerry. They can continue the chase.
Oh, they got him.
The Bear's down. Shut down gold onto the Victor. How much more do they want this? One more will do the trick as Shogo gets on the board.
Massive play from the University of St. Thomas. Niles actually ended up going to the mid lane after he popped the ult on Dardoch, so he gets that mid outer, but the team fight goes to favor UST, and they start off the Baron.
Niles will have the ultimate.
They can get this.
But the Meganar is timing out. Teleport from Getback will not have the Meganar. Daption taking a lot of damage from Niles. He just takes him down! Oh, Daption was not ready for that damage.
Tanking Baron. Oh, okay, Shogo got low. UST starting Baron up. Maybe a little bit presumptuous of them as MU. They do answer back a few. That's a mistake that St. Thomas can't afford to make, because keep in mind, we're 2 minutes and 30 seconds away from Soul Point being Soul being available for MU.
Yeah.
They're still up. Let's take a second look at this, though, as it was really the back half of the fight. I mean, it's a good start for MU. Getback was able to get out thanks to the help from Niles and friends. I got to credit Daption. That was a really nice W to save Dardoch. I think that was really the first big difference maker for UST. But then after that, ScaryJerry just got a little bit too far up. RobbyBob was able to take him down with Dardoch. Really good patience from UST as he took way too much damage from the Victor. Forced the flash out of the gravity field. And once he steps up for that auto, I mean, he's dead, right? He's got the long path back. Dardoch and UST cut him off. Really well done from them.
OddOrange goes back in to try and save his bot laner, then gets punished as well. Ooh. Signs of life yet for the scaling team. And you see Shogo bringing the energy on the comms. Picked up 1 kill for himself, but was showing that, yeah, the Kai'Sa in lane, that was one thing. Kai'Sa out of lane in the team fights is a completely different beast.
I mean, look at the items. He's ahead now, thanks to the farm against ScaryJerry. And once this Kai'Sa gets Navori Quick Blades, that's when you get really scary. More ability to throw out those Qs and go invisible. Yeah. Get the attack speed going. Shogo can make good use of that this game.
I'd love to take a look at the gold difference, actually, and see where we're at right now. Top lane is still all of the gold. Niles is the gold lead for MU right now. You look across the rift, everything else is very comparable. Niles was also one of the only members that survived that fight around the Baron and then pressured everyone off of it afterwards.
Now that fight, big for another reason. Victor, able to get W evolved, so now all of his abilities slow.
Yeah.
That is going to be really nice for Shogo and UST to continue to peel, as it's a 3K gold lead for MU, but honestly, I think this game is in a pretty even state right now. You can kind of see it on the map as... Okay, Dardy.
UST have a trap blade. They're going on to Niles. Does not have the rage bar built up, so that's a mini Gnar just pop, and Jerry just runs right into everybody from UST. 2 kills for the Saint, and they go for the Baron now.
No flash on the Varus. He doesn't have a Tom Kench or a Thresh to answer. This is kind of why I wanted to see the poke. Varus could play at a distance with flash being down. UST get right on top of him. They punish, but this is going to be an interesting trade. We'll see if Maryville has enough gas in the tank to actually take this soul. Is this going to be a late response here from St. Thomas?
They don't have time. It's 8 seconds.
Yeah.
It hasn't even spawned yet. They don't have the damage. Getback and OddOrange are not enough to burst it down. Porsche will actually jump onto Zyko.
They can do
no
this.
explosive Kaz, but they got the backup of Daption. So this Leona exhausted for the movement slow. Getback with a nice AoE stun, keeping Zyko alive. Porsche still wants it. Zyko in trouble. Yeah. Zyko goes down. There's no shot at the Dragon Soul for MU.
And all that hard work for Maryville in this early game. They're still going to fish around for this objective.
Wait, OddOrange is up. He does up. The flash coming up cooldown shortly, has the ultimate available. He could look for the steal. He's just focusing Porsche right now all alone.
This is weird.
UST have stuck around for quite a while. Niles back up, trying to get that rage bar stacked. Still has the ultimate.
They got to fight this.
OddOrange can go in with the... Oh, and the flash from Getback to set everything up. They took down Shogo. They carried it for UST. Woo. They stuck around the Dragon for a little too long, and MU... their work pays off. That is Dragon Soul.
Credit to Getback, and this is a very awkward trade on the Rift. As for a moment there, it looked like Maryville gave up that early game lead, but now the fact they have Hextech Soul, so big for them. As what a back and forth. I gotta credit Niles. You're gonna see in this fight, he's able to stack up this Mega Bar so much. It's Getback who starts it. That cask was popped too early from Porsche, so Getback was actually able to walk through, finds the Flash W, and then this Mega Gnar from Niles actually saves ScaryJerry. So Porsche is about to put down this cask and the combo. ScaryJerry gets knocked out. He couldn't combo it because Niles threw him into the wall with the Mega Gnar. So Niles saving ScaryJerry, keeping that DPS up so they can finish off that Hextech Soul. They get that for themselves, and now, honestly, still in a pretty funky game state.
Niles walking up, baiting everyone to walk closer to him, setting up big Getback for the play, and now right back onto the Rift. The Baron buff is only a 700, now 800 gold lead for UST. They have it on a few members, but I don't think they're going to get any more mileage out of that.
I mean, this game gets weird now because like the scaling, I still favor University of St. Thomas with the scaling. Once Navori gets in for Kai'Sa, this Victor is already at 3 items. He's going to be a beast compared to the Annie for the rest of the game. That Banchesville will keep him really safe too, but it's still Hextech Soul available for Maryville.
Yeah.
The question for me is, UST can't really get anything off this Baron. What happens when, like, I think we're going to have a game where Elder does spawn, and Maryville's going to have to be very careful about how they poke out University of St. Thomas. They don't have poke advantage with this comp. That's how you apply Hextech Soul and get an advantage. I think this game's going to come down to an Elder fight, really.
Quick Blade's now up for Shogo.
Yeah.
So UST are ready for that. We got the triple items on the Victor as well. So RobbyBob and Shogo, the 2 damage dealers, the 2 carries for UST, are ready for this next fight.
We're not fighting for a while. UST, they can just continue to 4-1. It looks like they're gonna have Victor pick up the sides. So they want to try and stack gold onto RobbyBob. RobbyBob does have flash up, won't spot OddOrange, so he'll be okay. Yeah, Mantis is nice here.
Okay. Flash from Niles. Should be fine right now with that Force of Nature. It's so hard for RobbyBob to kill him, but as I say, that Porsche might just commit. They have sharks in the water. Everyone's looking at MU, but Niles is quite fast.
They've got Hextech Soul. That's
Dardoch's in onto ScaryJerry. He gets ult out of Getback. He goes back over the wall onto the Varus. Flash from ScaryJerry. He gets knocked up. They're onto the carry. He's in trouble. He's still alive. Surviving for so long. He gets Dardoch. ScaryJerry lives.
Oh, he tried to fish for the cat. ScaryJerry able to get out of there in time with the ghost. Now UST, they got to run for the hills.
Now OddOrange can look for the re-engage. Has the flash ball breaker combo. Ball breaker over the wall.
That's big.
Cutting off the retreat path. Teleport from Niles. Gonna have to get that rage bar up, but has the ultimate available. Zyko jumping in, misses the Zenith blade, but Niles is there on Daption. Claims a kill for himself. Niles taking a lot of damage. Shogo might just have it, but OddOrange saves him yet again. The Vi jumping in, forcing the Kaisa out of the fight. Now Porsche looks on OddOrange, does claim one. Niles is very low. RobbyBob is the main character of this fight. Victor can walk up and do major damage with the big old Gragas in front of him.
You can see the value that Victor and Gragas are bringing. I mean, that was a deadly situation there for UST against Maryville, but enough slow and kiting power out of the Gragas. Victor and Dardoch, the little do-si-do with the gate, the flash. Yeah, this actually came up short from Daption. I think that was the big difference in the fact that ScaryJerry was able to live. Shogo went for Niles instead of ScaryJerry. And ScaryJerry able to get out, even with the ghost, able to get the cast out. And now we're going back to live. Must be another, okay, not another fight. Just going to set up for the objective. We do have a minute before Baron, so we will have a lot of the focus around the top side of the map, but still, this is going to come down to an Elder fight. And starting Baron, when it's only a minute difference, very risky because you get out of position for Elder.
You only have that 1 minute window to go for it. Will either of these teams have the confidence? Dardoch claims the scuttle. Locked down by Zyko. Daption's there to try and save him. Shogo joined in on the fight, but Dardoch is down. That's the jungler out as MU look to go forward. Niles has the ultimate available. Big Meganar stack. Zyko's down. That is one kill for RobbyBob. That's a huge Chaos Storm. RobbyBob untouched. He still has his Banshee's Veil up. I think they did enough damage. I don't think MU are going to be able to go for this Baron on spawn.
This game's getting a little hectic and a little sloppy here, which I'd like to see in Collegiate. It's now RobbyBob. He's got to have all the slows available.
Okay, Porsche's
Niles got around it, though.
But is he tanky enough? Niles is going to look for a second rage bar. Taking a lot of damage. Flash out of Porsche, but Niles is right on him. RobbyBob turns back on OddOrange. Getback has joined the fray yet again with that teleport. And RobbyBob is down. Raid Ball's claimed. MU with the shutdown.
Triumph saves OddOrange. They triumph over RobbyBob UST. That's an ace for Maryville and a lot of gold in their pockets now to prep for that Elder fight.
Where are we even going back? Okay, we're going back to the Dardoch play. He's looking for the scuttle and just gets picked off.
I mean, Dardoch maybe taking a page out of Blabber's book, dying for Crab. A little bit too late in the game for that, as unfortunately he goes down. It's a big ult from RobbyBob and a lot of damage, but MU were able to skate out of this one as Shogo didn't have flash available to get over the wall. Porsche, again, fishing to see if ScaryJerry walks through that choke, eats the cast, not able to find it. Now we got more fights.
Guess we're back to live. Dardoch in the same position. They did get that scuttle, so they know that the Baron's up. They don't have RobbyBob with teleport. Porsche will have teleport to join in here.
I don't like this.
MU have 5 members, though. They can just take the fight if they want to jump onto Dardoch. Niles taking a lot of damage right now. Shogo yet again! Claim Shogo! Double kill to ScaryJerry.
That's it.
And Getback yet again with these Annie engages.
I didn't like that because I thought Shogo might be able to turn it, but he had no summoner spells available to himself. One shot by Getback's Annie. That is Baron secured and a full reset for MU. The gates will get them to this Elder in time, and MU now in full control.
If you didn't watch the beginning of this game, you might be surprised to hear this.
This is interesting.
Okay, never mind.
This is interesting.
We're going to get back into live as Dardoch has taken the gate yet again. Niles is over the pit into the Baron, or Elder wall. He's going to front line right now. Porsche in a lot of trouble. Pull back with an R ultimate. And that's a Gragas picked. MU might have just secured the Elder Dragon. Dardoch can look for a miracle steal, but Zyko's on him.
RobbyBob's in trouble now, too. Okay.
Oh, yep. MU get all 4 dragons, both heralds, Baron buff, and Elder.
And it looked for a second like, you know, maybe we're going to convert this to a game lead. There's a couple fights in there where UST able to fight back, but as things have gotten sloppy, You know, we praised coming into this Maryville's map play, and we thought the UST might have had the advantage when it comes to their individual team fighting prowess.
Yep.
It's been Maryville. It's been playing much better. I think part of that has been around the stuns. They have the tools. Getback's Ahri, even against this Victor, he's still been so valuable in this game. I know it's only 1-1-12, but some of the turns and engages that Getback has chosen for his team, he has really stepped up in this game too. And for me, is the big reason why it's looking like this series is about to be evened up.
For game 1, to me, it was UST's Porsche with the engages. But game 2, Getback on the Ahri is doing the exact same thing, finding these picks, finding these big team fight turning plays.
Yeah.
And then now MU with the Baron can walk this wave in, start cracking the base of UST.
As long as Elder's up, they can't fight, but it's still really difficult to siege onto Victor. As you can see, Victor doing a nice job of holding at least back this way, but this is where the tower's going to fall. They have to sack this inhibitor too. I think they have to put up the defense for the second inhibitor as Maryville cracking open that base, University of St. Thomas.
I think UST are just going to try and hold at the Nexus turrets, you imagine, but with MU, with Elder for another minute and 10,
oh, that's so
they
much.
could look for the game end. If they just dive underneath this turret, Niles just hit Mega, but cannot jump on them yet.
That's the timer.
Looking for Daption, misses it. Porsche taking damage already. Explosive Cask used, not quite successfully though. Okay. You see the damage spread. Every time the Hex Dragon Soul spreads, I get panicked. Because UST are taking all that damage and then Elder will snipe them.
I mean, Elder gets applied by Hextech Soul, which is pretty, you know, that's pretty fun. As now, I mean, is it too late?
Corruption, they're onto him. ScaryJerry fights away, surviving yet again. And with that, MU have sealed the fate of UST in game 2, evening up the series 1-1 with their revenge tour against UST.
We know that University of St. Thomas likes to play scaling. I think that they bended a little bit too much as they broke to Maryville. And MU, I gotta give OddOrange a lot of credit. He had winning lanes that game. Maryville, they were able to play out those winning lanes, but also OddOrange really capitalized. Some of those invades just got his whole team ahead, and MU played that game out very well.
ScaryJerry getting fed, OddOrange out jungling Dardoch in the early game. The complete opposite from game 1 where Shogo was the one popping off. Dardoch was the one invading and getting ahead. And with the script flipped, what's going to happen game 3? I mean, we're 1-1 now.
I mean, UST gets side swapped. They could take blue side if they wanted to. Okay, if we are going to get one more look. It was a good attempt on the ScaryJerry, but Shogo just gets one tapped here in the back half. Love to see all of Maryville turning onto him. Really nice engage there from Zyko to make sure that Shogo went down to the team. And MU, for me, again, story of that game. This is a collegiate team, but they qualified into Tier 2, and their macro and map play, when they do have advantages, it's very sound. Some of these players have played at the higher level. That for us is why they made it in the challenges. That for us is why they've been dominant in collegiate, and that for us is why they ended up taking down that game too.
You could see it in the setups around the dragons. They controlled all of the dragons in that game, and every single time UST were trying to enter in, they just had no shot. So that brings us to 1-1. Now we had some spicy plays in that game, but we've got an even spicier all chat. So to take a look, let's head on over to the Philosophy Lounge, where analysts will take a deep dive into the mind of our players.
Thank you very much from our very own Plato. Kangas, appreciate you. Welcome back. Game number 2 in the books. Maryville tied up 1-1. Joining us on the desk is jungler for St. Louis University. It's the artist formerly known as Winston. Winnie joining us. Thank you very much, man. What'd you think of that game number 2?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys having me. I think we saw that MU had an adaptation. They still stuck to the blue side. This time they had a lot more playmaking. They had a lot of abilities to actually play through their lanes, and you saw OddOrange take advantage of that in the early game, and you saw a lot of decisiveness down the stretch, and it was a great match to watch, and I think we're in for a long series.
Yeah, well, we'll dive into that after we play this quick game. You heard Kangas say it earlier, a lot of all chat going down, so we're playing a little game called Guess Who All Chat Edition. So the question is, who said which smack talk here? Which is the real all chat message that was said in this lobby? Winnie, obviously you had some of that last game.
Okay.
So which of these did, who said what? Jerry, are you lost, bros? Number 1. Question mark, congratulations. 3-6 smite, 4 open. Who said what here, Winnie? And it's the 10 players in the lobby right now.
So we have to match each of them to a player.
Yes.
So the first one is Jerry, are you lost, bro? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who said that in the all chat?
I mean, that one has to be Shogo. I hope so, at least.
Okay, what's number 2?
Question mark, congrats. Either Dardoch, I think Dardoch.
Okay.
Up there.
And then number 3, which is 6 Might. Who do you think has that one?
I think 6 Might, was that in game 1 where there was that fighter on the enemy, around the blue side Gromp? Did OddOrange get that, or did
OddOrange did get that one?
So maybe.
But I don't think OddOrange is the type to engage that confrontation, you know?
OddOrange did tell us he had blocked all the UST players from the all chat.
That doesn't mean he can't chat.
I feel like, honestly,
that one way,
6 Might, I feel like a jungler didn't say that. Like, it was someone else flaming a jungler that said that. That's like how I'm feeling.
I don't know who else it would be, though.
It could have been Niles. It was close to his lane, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay,
Niles maybe seems
Niles
like
on the
smart
red team.
talker.
He always has his boys back, so I can see that.
That's true.
Okay.
All right,
So
give
let's
me
go
number 4.
Niles.
Number 4. Who said open there?
I mean, that one's either Dardoch or Shogo. Come on. I mean, I think UST has that ego, but other than that,
Yeah, I think so. I think
Shogo on the Draven, right?
Here are your answers. I'll start with number 3. That was actually ScaryJerry. ScaryJerry hopping on in.
Oh, okay.
1, 2, and 4 was Shogo.
All 3 of them are Shogo?
1, 2, and 4 were all
That's
Shogo.
on
They're
brand.
playing Chat Racer. Again, we've highlighted the bad blood between these teams, specifically down there on the bottom side of the map, where both those players are talking smack. But the first blood in this last game came from unique pathing here from OddOrange, which is something that you wanted to highlight here.
Yeah, so in this game, MU has a pretty common strategy on blue side where they get an early ward on the enemy Raptors, which helped OddOrange make his early decisions. He ends up seeing Wukong on the Raptors at this time, and he gets the communication from his mid that the ramp is actually warded. So in order to go for this invade, he wants to make sure he avoids that, so there's an information. Dardoch doesn't expect it. They end up getting into this 1v1 where they're staring down, and at this point, he can rely on the bot pro that he has based on the matchups they draft. They're able to get the blue. He ends up being able to control bot river from this point forward, and then that ends up giving him a clear path into mid lane, which RobbyBob didn't expect. So this was a great on-the-fly decision-making by OddOrange to really see the kind of opportunities that his lanes gave him, avoid the information that the enemy team had on him, and it resulted in a really clear lead that MU was able to ride on and have a really strong early game from it.
You mentioned that this matchup, we were talking during the game, Vi versus Wukong, is very Wukong winning once you get to one item, but this is the angle where OddOrange was actually able to capitalize a little bit, especially because Dardoch kind of got the better hand of him in game number 1. It was really cool to see OddOrange regain his composure and have a really strong early game.
Yeah. I think, oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, this jungle matchup, I think so clearly now is something that we just got to keep our eyes on, because in game 1, Dardoch able to get plays on the bottom side, get Shogo super far ahead. This time around, as we highlighted, OddOrange doing such a great job with control. These two teams both like to play very aggressive in the early game, so whichever jungler is able to put the other one on the back foot is going to take a lot of control in the series.
Right, and it started off with that action, but then it led to some sneaky team fight plays here that we saw in the mid game. Right at, you guys called it out, it was like unfortunate, it was like right at 19 minutes, this little sneaky gank. You knew something was up, you got several people hovering mid, but still, Niles a little too far out, gets caught out, and a great cast leading ScaryJerry, who didn't have flash from the last fight, getting blown up here. You're thinking, okay, great, UST, they're gonna take control of this. Not exactly the case that happened.
Yeah, so it was a bit of worry because with both Baron and the Soul both spawning at corresponding times, obviously UST wanted to be able to get that Baron initially, but because of those portals, ScaryJerry was able to get back here. Now it's at TP, and this led to a great angle that Getback was able to find, and this secured MU not only the Soul that they ended up getting the Elder later on, but it also stalled the Baron from UST, so they weren't actually able to get much out of it.
Yeah, and it highlights something the Grapes that you were bringing up, Hawk. You both brought it up. Actually, all 3 of you brought it up. The angles at which, and Kangas brought it up too, the angles at which Annie was finding the fights. Earlier in game number 1, it was Porsche on the Gragas doing a great job getting these engages. Game number 2, we're waiting for Getback to come in. He does a great job on the Annie finding these flash engage plays.
I mean, if we're all talking about it, that means that it's pretty obvious. Getback looking really good. Watch this flash right over for getting both members of the UST bottom lane. I mean, just an absolutely critical part of this fight. And a pretty interesting situation overall. We were thinking that UST might have had an angle to get back here.
And a clear thing for this series, we've highlighted a bunch of key roles and key players, and now seeing 2 games, different ones being attacked and activated by both teams. Because at Getback, another piece that UST was able to effectively shut down in game number 1 showed up big in game number 2 here. So it all just goes back to those early advantages I just think influence this series so incredibly much.
Yeah, I think it also just adds to the level of confidence and the faith that Maryville actually have in a player such as Getback, right? You know, the adaptation that they did make this game in draft was picking that Annie early on that was eliminated in the second phase of the last draft, right? They had the faith in him to give him such a strong pick on the patch. And, you know, like we all mentioned, he found those angles, he's executing, and kind of the difference in that Annie-Victor matchup is obviously Victor's going to be able to scale, going to get advantages through the lane. You know, it's more easier to execute, but because Getback was able to find those angles, we're heading to a game 3 with it, you know, all tied up at ones.
Well, one thing that you brought up is the fact that it's multiple threats that have been stepping on up. So you guys are going to show us the multiple threats on both squads and rate them here, Hawk. So why don't you guys head on over to the wide wall and show us how it's done here.
So if you all join us over here at the wide wall, we've got 6 players on your screen here. It's all 3 of the big carries for each team. Niles, Getback, ScaryJerry, Porsche, Robbie, and Shogo. And our jungle extraordinaire here is gonna threat level these players based on how much they need to be attacked. So, Winnie, I mean, just looking at these players on your screen right now, who are like I absolutely need to shut these guys down immediately?
Yeah, so we kind of saw the outcomes of the first and second game where Dardoch was able to get a really, you know, massive lead in the bot side, able to enable Shogo, and then we saw in this game where Jerry was able to be enabled by OddOrange. So I'm already directly looking at those 2 players that are on the screen. We have both Jerry and Shogo. I think those are 2 that in this series is going to be pivotal for both junglers to be able to play around these players, be able to shut them down. In terms of, obviously, we saw the X factors, Getback being a huge one in that last game on the Annie, and we saw RobbyBob as the Yasuo. I think these are both kind of more stable players. I think we also saw like a kind of uncharacteristic death by Robbie for that first blood. So I would kind of look at that. Or OddOrange also mentioned that, you know, he gives, whenever he gives Getback an early gank, it's going to lead to a, you know, a good, strong carry performance out of him. So looking at that mid matchup, and then I think this top lane matchup, both. You know, both of them were very strong. I know Niles is very consistent. It's very hard to gank him. He plays really well around information, vision, all that. So it's tough to shut down Niles. They're going to have to, you know, see what they're able to do. And I think Porsche has been really consistent. But I'm specifically looking at that bot lane. As a jungler, I want to affect those guys and make sure that, you know, my teammate has that lead.
Cool. So we're setting the bot lane like completely ablaze. 100%. Like we're pitching a tent down there. 100%. We're camping it, right?
Yeah,
okay.
We're making sure we have control of the bot river the entire game.
Cool. And then like, you know, around mid lane, that's where we're sort of like looking to strong side a little bit and saying good luck, have fun top laners, or
yeah. I mean, I'm relying on that Niles will hold it down. I'll tell him the enemy jungle's top while I'm, you know, we're getting more on the bot side of the map, and I know that I'd have the faith in him in order to kind of pull through.
Awesome. Well, looks like a pretty clear story. Attack bot, play around mid, maybe see if our top laners can pull through at the end. I mean, thank you very much, Winnie, for giving us that high-level analysis. We can bring it back over here and get on with the rest of the show. How about it?
Sorry, junglers and supports, you guys don't get your own pages quite yet. Although we've been
they don't get the gold, right? They're just along for the ride. This is if you're the jungler, you know, who are you going after? So.
Is that how we really feel here, Winnie? You don't get the gold?
I mean, I know Dardoch's definitely a player who wants that gold. You saw him, he's picking the Wukong, you know, on that Thunder Spike, he's making a lot of effective. So, I mean, he definitely wants that last hit, but, you know, you have an AD such a Shogo, I wouldn't mind deferring to him.
Similar first rounds of the drafts so far in games 1 and 2. It'll be blue side for UST. Okay. No subs coming on in, obviously, for UST. How do we feel like that changes up the game here, Grapes?
Makes it interesting to, you know, that Karthus Milio trade of bans was something that the casters talked about in both of the drafts so far. I wonder if that still stays the same, or if, you know, maybe now UST is okay with picking up the Milio. I want to see Niles get a little bit more look at here from UST. Porsche kind of got dominated a little bit up there, and on the Gnar, just really was able to, Niles was really able to take over that game, especially towards the end, frontlining a lot of the magic damage that UST had.
Winston, final thoughts here before we throw to break?
Yeah, I think, you know, USP being on the blue side, I think Maryville will just ban the Millie. I don't think that they have that Karthus answer. I think a big thing was going to see if they actually were able to beat the Wukong. They showed that they did, so maybe less priority there. You know, we might see things such as Cassante start coming out, maybe more priority on those bot laners, maybe that Zyko Rakan. But I think we're in for a really creative draft, and I think UST will come up with a better answer to enable their ball lane this next game.
All right, hey, you're free to stay with us. You got time for one more game?
I mean, I'm always down. I appreciate it. It's really fun.
Yeah, I'm just glad that it's not another sweep. You know,
yeah,
we get a competitive series.
We get more than 9 games this week.
Yeah, if only there was a way, you know, maybe someone on the couch that could have controlled that. Unlucky. I hope you're. Please stay for us in the next game. All right, guys.
No, don't flame our gas, man.
Well, I apologize to Winnie. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, it'll be Game 3 here in the CLOL Grand Finals. I'll just get ready. Go on.
I'm ghosting.
Cut.
That's his clients.
Yep. No, I'm going now. I'm gonna die.
Nice, guys. Wukong can be there soon, but I'm trying to trail, so just play with that information.
Nice.
You're good, Jerry.
Yeah, damn right I am.
That's right.
Yes. MU have 5 members, though. They can just take the fight if they want to jump onto Dardoch. Niles taking a lot of damage right now. Shogo yet again! Claim Shogo! Double kill to ScaryJerry.
That's it.
And Getback yet again with these Annie engages.